Welcome back to our series, Across State Lines, where we investigate each state's most notorious cold cases. This episode, we trek over to the state known for its heat, Arizona, to investigate a case that even the heat couldn't keep from going cold.
Welcome back. David, introduce yourself real fast. Well said.
I thought, don't we play the same intro every time?
We do. I was messing with you.
Okay, I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck to say.
Okay.
The Bumblebee Killer. Killings or killer?
That's kind of a loaded question. Killer potential killings.
Okay.
Depending on which theory is more likely.
Naturally.
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna get into the whole Bumblebee thing.
That's
relevant.
Bumblebee's the road.
All right.
Bumblebee's the road.
Oh,
Bumblebee's the road it happened on.
Okay.
So it's not shaming the killer by giving him a really stupid name or something.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No,
but
we're
gonna see that though. We're gonna see someone who got a really stupid name from the public.
Oh, I can't wait.
October 17th, 2003, Scottsdale, Arizona. Brandon Rambow, 20 years old, and Lisa Guerre, 19 years old, were a young, vibrant couple planning on getting married in the following year. This particular day, they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary. Their plans to go to Disneyland didn't pan out, so they decided to recreate one of their first dates, park their car in the outdoors, stargaze, and fall asleep under the dark skies.
Would you ever go to Disneyland for a 1-year anniversary? I read that and I was like, in no world do I see myself doing that.
That just doesn't sound appealing.
It doesn't.
Like, when I think of 1-year anniversary, I'm not like, you know where we should go?
Disneyland.
Like,
well, think about it too. You're a broke college student. If I'm going to spend, how much is Disneyland?
oh, it's ridiculous right now. I don't remember how much, but it's absurd.
Is it like more than $300 a person?
It's probably right around there, depending on your age.
Let's say it's $300 a person. You're willing to spend $600. Wait, no, you have to living situation. You're willing to spend around $1,000 on, maybe more, this 1-year anniversary. Go do something cool. Don't go to Disneyland. Go to Mexico. Go out of the country. Go on a cruise. I wouldn't go to Disneyland. Personally.
No, that would not be my first pick either.
Yeah.
To each their own, I guess.
Paula Guerre, Lisa's mother, called the young couple as they were driving on Interstate 17, which would lead them to the now infamous Bumblebee Road. On the phone, she asked her daughter if they had made it to their destination. Lisa told her mom that they still had a ways to go before arriving. Paula then says, quote, "Okay, just be careful," end quote, before hanging up the phone. Little did Paula know, those words would be a relevant warning for the tragedy that awaited them. The following day, Paula would start to worry when Brandon and Lisa had not contacted her at all, even though they were on a deadline to return the white F-150 car they had borrowed from her. As the hours would pass, a feeling of dread would start to build up in Paula. She started to call Brandon's family to ask them if they had heard anything from the two. Even though they hadn't, they were not all that worried, even suggesting that they went to Las Vegas and eloped.
What do you think your family's reaction would be? You were in the situation where someone was like, "Hey, David's mom, have you seen David? I haven't seen David. He said he'd contact me today, or he would come by. I haven't seen him. And, I'm worried." Would your parents joke around like them and be like, he's probably... Can't say that on there, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Who in their right mind is like, you know where they went? To Vegas.
Yeah.
Bro, it's not just your son's girlfriend that's missing. It's also your freaking son. But come on, show some concern.
But maybe... I'm trying to think, if I was in their position where I'm the parent, I might be less concerned hearing that my son or daughter's gone missing if they are with their boyfriend or girlfriend. I'd be like, oh,
True.
They're both missing? True. They're probably just doing something together. If one of them's just missing, they're like, okay, maybe I should be a little concerned.
The feeling of dread was shared with Brandon's family when they got wind that he hadn't showed up for work that same day. Multiple calls would go out to family, friends, and even the police to find out what happened to Brandon and Lisa. 2 days later, on Sunday, October 19th, the family and friends of the couple would do their own search party and head down to where they were last known. A friend of Brandon's would recall that he and Brandon had camped around this area a few years prior in a remote yet popular area right off the Bumblebee Road. After searching around that area, they would locate the white F-150, the seemingly innocent view betraying the horrific nature of the scene. As they crept up to the van, they would peek into the bed of the truck. Lisa and Brandon lay dead in their sleeping bags. Police investigations would be hindered by a lack of evidence around the crime scene. Autopsies showed they were shot in the head and chest multiple times with a .25 caliber handgun somewhere between 7 p.m. on Friday and 8 a.m. Saturday.
So there's almost 12 hours of range of when they could have died or been shot. Also, I've never heard of a .25 caliber. Granted, I'm not really a gun dude, but what kind of gun can do that? Is that like a rifle or?
So a 22 caliber would be like what someone would call like a pea shooter.
Yeah. It's a smaller bullet.
It is like one of the smallest, if not the smallest bullet you can buy.
Yeah.
So a 25, I mean, that's 300ths larger if we were to like proportionately increase that.
So not very big.
No, not at all. Like,
do they even sell guns with 25? Like,
I've honestly never seen nor heard of one. Yeah, no surprise at all that they were shot a bunch of times in the chest and head.
To make sure. That's true. I didn't think of that. Okay, interesting.
That being said, no bullet casings were found in or around the truck. No suspicious tire tracks nor shoe prints were discovered in or around the car either. The only noteworthy thing found, a borrowed video camera, was missing from the scene with its case left behind. But most daunting, a broken disposable camera with some photos still intact about 100 feet away from the crime scene was found. 2 of the 3 photos recovered show Lisa and then Brandon sitting in the back of the truck posing, with nothing seeming out of the ordinary, the 3rd photo being the strangest of them all. It's as if the picture was taken through the crack of a barely open door that shows a potted plant, a bowl-like structure, and a window behind the light. Some authorities have stated they believe that determining the origin of this photo could be the key to solving the case.
You have the photo?
Yeah, they're public. They're public.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
That's what the 2 photos. Oh wait, we can see them separately. So that's what the girl looks like. Smash your pad. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Smash. Okay, so both look pretty cool.
Those 2 photos and then the other one, which I'll show you. A lot of people say their faces, like as if the killer made them take the photo or something. They look like they're just dogging around, goofing around. Like it's the same position. She's freaking got like the most portrait picture smile going on.
Yeah, that's true.
I honestly don't agree nor think
don't buy
that. Yeah.
I mean, it just sounds like people making something out of nothing.
No, literally. This is the photo everyone says is the key to solving the case. Like, what do you think that is?
So there's the light that you mentioned. What looks like a plant. Why is the outside all white?
So, from what I believe, it's like the door's slightly cracked open and they just snuck a picture. That's why. Well, I mean, that accounts for whatever this is. I don't know why that part is white, though, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. No, I think door, also window.
It could be through a window. Yeah, that's true.
I could see a window.
Window might make sense if it's a disposable flash. It usually flashes, and that's a reflection, like the glare off the window. That would actually make a lot of sense. So I read it's not a very common belief nor theory, but people say that photo's actually upside down, and that's a bowl on a table.
Well, then the bowl's glowing. That's stupid.
And the plot is defying gravity.
People are dumb.
I read that. I was like, really? And I flipped the photo. I was like, no shot. The only way I could think this would solve the case is if, like, that's where they met their killer or something. But, like, a lot of people, internet gurus, like, if we find out where this picture was taken, we solve the case. I'm like, can you connect A to B, please? Because I am wildly lost with that logic.
So what? The killer takes the picture and, like, drops it at the scene? Or they take a picture where they meet the killer?
Well, it doesn't make sense either why the photos are there. I'm like, there was no bullet casings. There was literally no evidence to point to anybody. But the killer's just gonna leave a couple photos that can possibly indict him in this crime? No shot. No shot. Unless he's literally like Riddler from the Batman and toying with people. But I think it's just a random photo they took. Like a restaurant.
Okay, wait. But you said there were no bullet casings?
Yeah, so no bullet casings were found. No tire tracks. No footprints. Nothing.
Okay, so no bullet casings. So this wasn't like crime of passion and then hurry and leave.
Well, the weird thing is, too, with the time frame we have of how long the truck was seen there, there's no way the killer brought them, sort of killed them, and brought them back. Like, the killer had to have killed them while they were parked there.
I see. No tire tracks, no footprints. I mean, Arizona, desert, sand. Like, no tire tracks. How long ago did you say they were found? I mean, there's a 12-hour time frame between when they could have been killed.
So they left. A day later, they called the police.
So 24
And then
hours.
I don't know if that day or the day after that they were found, but I'd give it most 3 days. At most 3 days they were parked.
Okay.
Right there.
I mean, any decent wind would throw any tire tracks, footprints.
That's true.
But Arizona gets so hot that even if it was muddy at one point, it'll be irrelevant.
Yeah. How can a supposed killer be like so tedious and thoughtful about all the evidence he's cleaning up and then just leave a photo that could totally implement him? Like, he wouldn't. That's why I don't... As cool or fun it is to think this photo could solve the crime, it's just not reality. Like, it's just some random photo that was taken.
Homie's no Zodiac killer.
Exactly.
As for the crime scene, the only things missing, car keys and a video camera. With no signs of sexual assault, robbery, drugs, alcohol, or a struggle, the police would have an even harder time trying to fit the pieces together. Further interviews would make it known that the white truck had been parked in the spot for at least 24 hours before the bodies were found, making it unlikely the culprit killed them then drove them to that area. This is what police had to say. Quote, "Do we believe that this was a random act and that there's a crazy person running around? Not necessarily. Can we rule it out? Not necessarily." End quote.
So basically they know nothing.
They know nothing. Yeah, that's a good way of saying, I know. I don't know.
We literally have no idea.
That's what's that called? Like word fluff. Got to fill out the essay, make sure it hits 300 words. But it's kind of hard if you're the cop. You know, the public is like, hey, these two dudes, they were killed. Like, what's going on? And you're like, how do we tell them we don't know without telling them we don't know?
With this seemingly motiveless murder and 1,000 plus campers that were around during the weekend, each day the case got colder and colder, with an unwanted yet inevitable ending becoming ever more apparent. 22 years later and still no progress on who would have committed this heinous act, it's time to look into some theories about what might have happened to this young couple when they decided to sleep on the Bumblebee Road. Theory number 1. A man named Michael Veelers killed the young couple. Days after the investigation, the police would publicly name Michael as an investigative lead, but they clarified he wasn't a suspect. It's possible they would specify that so they wouldn't cause a panic in him. Michael was reported to have been around the white F-150 at the time of the murders, making him the only lead the police had who was around at the time of the crime. However, police would find him shortly after and tell the public, quote, "At this time he is cooperating. We're hoping he can provide us with some information," end quote. With a lack of motive for Michael wanting to kill them and his cooperation, the police did not pursue him any further. It's possible that the young couple might have seen something they weren't supposed to, and to ensure their silence, Michael took matters into his own hands.
Okay. Where the freak did this dude come from? Like, how on earth? Or is it like, oh, he was seen around the F-150? Who? Who said that?
I think witnesses, because he was in his black truck, and if you were around the camp and you're like, holy, I was around and these two people just got murdered at that white truck we saw by there. Oh, I remember a black truck was parked there. Knowing who was in that black truck, though, Michael, I couldn't find anything on who definitively gave Michael as a tip to the police.
Interesting, okay.
But also super, maybe not super weak lead. He was by the crime scene. Allegedly. But even then, it's like, that's all you got. He was by them. There was 1,000 plus campers that day. Maybe 6 cars were by them at that time. I don't know. Maybe he was parked there for 20 minutes, took a little nap, and then left. Maybe it was 30-second pee break, and then he left. It's just weak, in my opinion. I don't know how often the police do this, saying, like, we're publicly naming Michael because he's an investigative lead. But you're not a suspect! You're not a suspect!
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
I wonder if they genuinely thought that or not. It's a pretty weak theory, overall.
Theory number 2. Someone involved in the initial search party and closely connected to Brandon and Lisa killed them. In 2019, Lisa's family would say that the police overlooked a potential suspect who they believed could be responsible. However, they never said the name of this person, so for storytelling's sake, I will refer to him as Seth. Mike Guerre, Lisa's uncle, and her mother Paula said Seth was a friend of both Lisa and Brandon, even though he wanted to be more than just friends with Lisa. The family stated he was, quote, infatuated with her, end quote. And raised with the thought of Lisa choosing Brandon over him and knowing they were celebrating their anniversary, he followed them down to the campsite and killed them both while they slept. The police stated that there may be evidence that shows Lisa was awake during her attack. Maybe Seth wanted to be the last thing Lisa saw, as a twisted way to get back at her for not choosing him. Lisa's family also said that Seth moved away immediately when the murders happened, ending up in Washington. Police would eventually track him down and question him, even setting him up to a polygraph test. Unfortunately, the police would cross him off as a suspect after he passed the test, which they now have publicly stated they regret and don't believe that is enough to eliminate a person of interest as a suspect.
I have so many questions.
Essentially, best friends in love with Lisa. He knew where they'd be. Motive, means, opportunity. Killed them.
I guess. Okay, so he suddenly moved. Do we have any idea what he was doing beforehand? Going to school?
I could not find anything on this guy.
Because they make it sound like he uprooted his whole life, but if he didn't really have a life to uproot, and like... What? This girl that you're a huge fan of dies, it's like all of a sudden like, okay, if she's gone, then why am I here?
That's true. He moves because like, well, I was into her, but she's not here anymore. Frick this place. I'm going back to... Since they never said his name, I can't even like tell you if he's originally from Washington or whatever.
No, that's fair too.
This is the only theory that has means, motive, and opportunity. Other than that, we have to rely on it just was a random opportunistic killing. Like you just got dealt a bad hand of cards.
I don't know. I mean, I struggle to think that it's like, I don't know. I feel like, again, making something out of nothing. Like, this dude was infatuated with her, whatever, according to the family, but like, for him to sit on it for a whole year, and they're suddenly celebrating their anniversary, and he's like filled with rage and just goes and decides to kill, like, that makes no sense.
The only reason I believe this theory, or have more of a probability to believe it, is because 53% of murder victims are killed by someone they know. This includes family members, acquaintances, friends, and neighbors. So, more than 50% chance that if you get killed, it's going to be by someone you know. I think that it's like a 80% chance it's your spouse, like if you keep going up or whatever. It's so rare that it is just a random person. Like I was listening to this thing. It was called like The Lady of the Dunes. It's a really famous cold case of a lady who turned up half burnt to death in this canyon dunes. I forget what state it was. And the theories are crazy. She was a spy. She had this, that, this, what. Turns out, she was killed by her husband. They were able to identify her finally after years through DNA, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, she was just killed by her husband and dumped there. So it's Occam's razor. Simplest
explanation
is the correct one. Yeah. So that's the only reason I put more trust into this theory. Likelihood. But the fact that family won't even name him, I'm like, maybe they're like potential suing threats. They don't want to get involved with that. But come on, it was your daughter that died.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I also feel like too, if he was so like quote unquote infatuated with her that it was going to be a factor, then I feel like he would have been a stronger suspect.
That's true. Well, okay, what do you think about? Because polygraph tests, I believe, in most states, are not admissible evidences in court. Like you can't put that in court. Do you think it's enough then, if that's the standard, to eliminate someone as a suspect? If you can't prove they're one in court, should be able to eliminate one.
Well, the difficult thing is like innocent until proven guilty, right? But there comes a certain point where it's like you're guilty until you're proven innocent. And so I feel like if it really was that bad and his obsession with her was that bad, then that becomes a case. And not that it's right or wrong, but it just does become a case where you have to prove that you're innocent instead of prove that you're guilty.
Yeah.
And so I feel like in a situation like that where love would be the motive here, I feel like it's not enough. And it's really hard to draw the line. Like, how can you as a cop be like, oh, this suspect, yeah, he took the polygraph and he's good, but this one.
Yeah.
So it's a really tough thing, but like, from where I sit, my 2 cents, no, that's absolutely not enough.
Yeah.
If this is really that big of an issue.
I don't think one polygraph test should eliminate him, especially since you have the family naming him. He had ties to them. He, more than likely chance, he might have known where they were going. So we're a little blessed. We have 4 theories instead of 3.
We have 4?
Yeah, because
on a case this like bare.
Yeah. So this is the thing though. With a case this bare, there's so many non-requirements it needs to fit into any case that you just have to think, well, 2 other people were randomly killed in insert place here. Maybe it's the same person, and boom, we have a theory right there. It's not like their face was ripped apart and the killer wore their face as a mask. Like, no, it's
Jeez, bro. It's heavy.
I was thinking of Midsummer in that moment. So there's this guy named Sean Michael Gallen. He's not a disgrace to the Sean name because he spells it like a woman, the Shaun. I just want to throw that out there.
Duly noted.
There was this other couple in a beach in California that were found killed. Kind of same idea. In their tent, sleeping bags, shot.
With a .25 caliber?
Never publicized if that was the case. Yeah.
Shame.
They found the guy. I forget how. I think it was like a tip line or something, or the DNA that was left there connected him to another crime he committed. Sean was unhinged, like mentally. He tried to kill his brother.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And he was later convicted for those 2 people. And so everyone was like, oh, well, maybe he could have killed Lisa and Brandon too. And then they asked him, why'd you kill him? He's like, they were there and I could. So he's just a psychopath, right? So those killings do happen. And now that you have another killing like that, you're like, oh, that fits into his criteria. They were just there. Shoot him. Why not? So most of these next theories are going to be kind of like that.
Okay,
it was just these people have a track record of randomly killing people, so you don't have much of a actual basis other than that for any of these theories. But we'll get into it.
Theory number 3. A 21-year-old Rusty Rankins is responsible for the murders. Rusty was wanted for the murders of William Middow and Omer Casey in Crown King, Phoenix, Arizona, which is only 49 miles away from the Bumblebee Road. There was no motive for Rusty to kill the 2 who were camping overnight. After killing them, he stole their car and made a run for it. Police would be tipped about Rusty and track him down. This would lead to a standoff between the SWAT team and Rusty in a motel in Colorado Springs. When a longer than usual time passed with no word from Rusty, the SWAT team would infiltrate the motel room to find Rusty dead from a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. Police would find 4 different types of handguns in this motel. Whether any of those were a .25 caliber gun have not been disclosed. Unfortunately, Rusty took any answers to the questions we have to his grave that night.
So basically he committed a similar crime within a 50-mile radius, literally by 1 mile.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, it could have been him.
Could have been, yeah. That's it. That's all you got.
I'm giving that one 2 thumbs down.
Well, I looked up, I was like, were the guns found? Yada, 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 .25. It never disclosed. His dad was a police officer, and he had stolen his dad's guns. And, like, that's what he was killing people with.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he was just also unhinged, I guess. But he standoff with the SWAT and just blew his brains out.
Theory number 4. An American-Canadian serial killer named Joseph Henry Burgess killed Lisa and Brandon.
Did you ever think there would be a Canadian serial killer? Just without, like, the stigma of how nice Canadians are.
I mean, I was going to say,
I read that.
Nice.
Yeah, I read that, and I was like, really? Canada has a serial killer? Obviously, they have serial killers, but you just don't think about that. Oh, Canadians, yeah, they murder people, too.
Joseph was an unstable religious extremist, even referring to himself as Job, the biblical figure. In 1972, his first murder eerily resembled the Bumblebee killing. A couple camping, shot dead point blank in the head in their sleeping bags. Fingerprints and crumpled up Bible passages would help determine a motive. Joseph disapproved of the couple's relationship given that they were not married, so he took a .22 rifle and shot them, exacting what he thought was justice on behalf of God. He would be declared as one of America's most wanted for the next 37 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
A long time to be on the run.
Did they get him?
I'm not gonna just spoil it.
Oh, fine.
He would later be branded as the Cookie Bandit for robbing cabins in New Mexico decades later.
Wait, where does the cookie come in?
I guess he resorted, robbing cabins in Mexico, or New Mexico, and a couple of the reports had him stealing cookies from the houses.
So more than one.
Yeah, so he got branded as the Cookie Bandit. I'm like, that is so pathetic. Like, Bumblebee Killer's not much better because it just sounds stupid unless you know about the crime. The Cookie Bandit, you call that a toddler. Oh, yeah. Here comes the Cookie Bandit. I don't know. I thought that was... I chuckled when I saw it. I was like, dude, that's a low. That's a low.
Maybe that's why he killed a game.
Yeah, he saw that in the news. He's like, freaking. I'll show you.
A better name, yeah.
His crime spree would come to an end in 2009 when a police stakeout turned into a deadly shootout, leaving Joseph and an officer, Sergeant Joe Harris, dead. There are 37 years unaccounted for Joseph. It's possible that he stumbled upon Brandon and Lisa that night in Arizona, and believing they were enemies of God, decided to punish them just like he had years prior. The biggest damper on this theory is that we will never be able to know the truth, with his death ridding the investigation of any clues.
Bro, this could be it. I'm gonna Google what a 25 caliber rifle.
Okay, I'm curious. Like. Pull it up.
Yeah.
Holy, that's a tiny gun.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, so it's like a glorified 22, basically, barely bigger than a 22.
That's tiny. It's
this
the
one's
pictures
literally called the mouse gun.
Okay, yeah.
That's how small it is.
The pictures is showing like your hands are bigger than the gun. What does the bullet look like?
Oh, the bullet? It looks like
because it's gotta be tiny.
It is super, super small here. So,
that's actually bigger than I thought it'd look.
So it's 2 centimeters.
Yeah.
Which is, well, closer to 2.5, which is still uber small, comparatively speaking. Oh, here we go. Here's like a diagram of all of them next to each other.
It's actually smaller than a 22.
Yeah,
with
I guess so.
The casing at least makes it smaller. But then, okay, let's talk about this. No evidence, nothing found around the crime scene. How do you shoot someone that many times around campers and nobody is like, hey, yo, was that 16 gunshots I just heard?
I don't know. Okay, so my thing is, so technically a 22 long rifle, 22 caliber, is the best round to suppress for sound. That is Hollywood quiet. You put a suppressor on, like, that is whisper quiet. It's unbelievable how quiet it is. So a 25 isn't going to be that much different. And even without a suppressor, if you use subsonic rounds, which means it goes slower than the speed of sound, so it doesn't crack the barrier. So,
is that what that means?
So part of a gunshot, how loud it is it breaking the sound barrier, like when a jet breaks a sound barrier. If you've ever been to like a sports game or some kind of national like holiday hoorah where they fly the jets over, like that's where a bunch of the noise from the bullet comes from. And so if you just use subsonic rounds, especially the 22, the crack is going to be so small.
So you think he used the silencer? Or hypothetically, he could use the silencer? That's why.
100%, yeah.
The fact that it's almost certain they were killed where they were camping. Impressive's not the right word, but it's crazy how no prints, no casing, no nothing was found except the car keys. He's obviously smart. Well, why would he need the car keys, actually?
Well, he didn't take their wallets or anything either, right?
No, yeah, like they weren't robbed. Everything. They weren't robbed, except he took the car keys. Why?
Maybe
they're not gonna chase you.
Maybe he touched him, or maybe like she threw him and it touched him. She or he like threw them when they were shot, or he like inadvertently touched them. I don't know if there's any logic behind it, or maybe he kept it as like a trophy.
Yeah, but then if you're that tedious, how do you leave photos left behind? Oh well, actually, I just thought of this. The sheer fact they were left behind should be indicative that they mean nothing. He sees the photos, he's like, okay, whatever, and just leaves them. It's not some weird sick game he's playing. Rather, these photos have nothing to do with me. I'm not gonna take them. I didn't touch them. They don't have my DNA. Sure, I'll leave them.
And the interesting thing is the cameras found what? You said 100 feet?
Like 100 feet away. So someone
picked it up.
Picked it up, yeah.
And I'm assuming they didn't pull DNA off of it.
Very little DNA. If any was found. Yeah.
Dang. So, I mean, it had to be the killer, or someone just happened upon it.
And just kicked it. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you walk by that white truck, assuming the bodies aren't propped up, you're not really going to see it.
No, you won't. If they're in the bed of the truck, you're not going to see it.
Yeah. But, I mean, even then, it begs the question, how would it have gotten far enough away if the killer didn't touch it? So, like, I say that's probably going to be the killer.
If it's not just a random killing, what could a sleeping couple do to you that would warrant you shooting them a whole bunch of times?
Vengeance from Job, the cookie bandit.
That's true. Job, the cookie bandit. If you had to refer to yourself as any biblical figure, who are you choosing? Not freaking Job, I'll tell you that much.
No.
That's like
Definitely not
a
Joey.
self-pity thing. Like, oh, my life is so hard. God gives me all these challenges or whatever. It's like, dude, shut up. Pick someone cool.
Yeah.
Quit the pity party.
That's stupid.
I'm choosing like Samson or
Sam-
something.
dude,
Samson's
Samson's a good one.
lit. Samson or Moses. Moses
I was gonna say Moses.
Racked.
I'm gonna say Moses.
Okay, hearing all the theories, if you had to choose, which one isn't most likely?
Go with a random killing.
Yeah.
I like the Cookie Bandit, but my problem with that is the crime scenes were different.
Yeah.
Biblical passages. Different.
Well, and those two killings were like 30 years apart.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Like it seems too different to be the cookie guy.
Yeah.
But I don't quite buy into the family friend thing. I'm not a huge fan of the Rusty. Like none of them really like fit. But this is one of those ones where it's like a random killing. Like yeah, it's the least likely, but it's also I feel like it's probably the most
statistically, so-called Seth killed them. Realistically, kind of playing devil's advocate, yeah, just a bad day. I don't know, and just killed two people as one does.
I mean, I don't want to say it's like lame, underwhelming.
Underwhelming. That's a good word.
Like
we respect the lives lost, but let's be
Respect.
real for a second.
But that is underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like that is the underwhelming answer that I think is honestly the truth.
As the years tick by, the confidence investigators have with this case diminishes. Whether Brandon and Lisa died to a jealous-ridden friend, killed by the only man who was linked to the crime scene, were victims of Rusty Rankins, or became another death for a serial killer's murder spree, will remain unknown. Some say that the last photo found is the key to the truth. We say, maybe the truth will take us across state lines.
Yeah,
Interesting.
So, not anything like our last case where there was actual trial, but still, I thought the photos is what made it pretty interesting.
Very
I was
interesting.
like,
I agree.
yeah. Do I think they hold any bearing on what happened? Not in the slightest. But
They are cool.
it was pretty cool to see. So next, Arkansas will be the next one we'll do. I haven't looked into it, so we're gonna find out
This will be good.
what it is. Yeah. But thank you all for listening. And David is mighty single, so all you men out there or women, please hit him up.
I'll leave my number in the description.